It's that time of year when many kids start counting down the weeks to summer vacation. For some, skills learned this school year can get rusty over the months spent away from the classroom. Teddi Schnurr teaches early childhood education at Pima Community College and offered insight on how to prevent a summer setback. What would you say are some of the greater benefits of having children who are actively engaged throughout the summer when it comes to academics as well?
One of the big benefits is that by the time they go back to school, they're not making up for lost time. The research shows that the average loss in math and reading is about a month's worth of loss from the prior year, and that's an average. Some children lose actually more than that. So if nothing's done all summer to help reinforce some of the things they were learning, they're going to go back to school in a deficit, and that's obviously hard on the child, it's hard on the teachers, and all that. So in early childhood, we really believe about the whole child. So we want the child to have a wide range of activity. So some activities can be sitting down and reading a book, especially with someone else, making it an interactive experience. Go. Other times it's getting out and being active physically outside, swimming, doing other things that children need to have physical outlets for. So they need a variety, and they can do that just through casual opportunities at home or through structured programs that are available in the community.
Some of these activities that you're describing can be costly for families. So what sorts of things, if they are evaluating, is it worth us making the investment versus staying home with a relative? What sorts of things should they consider when they're going to make that investment?
Well, obviously cost is a big factor. So that drives a big part of the decision. The other thing is they don't have to have their child go to camp all summer. If a family chooses to do that, they can, but families don't need to feel pressured that that's the only way a child has to spend their time. So, they might have an opportunity to do some kind of community-based program for a week out of the summer, and then they might spend a few weeks at home, a few weeks with a relative, maybe visiting with grandma, maybe a little traveling. So the summer can be varied, and that can be just fine for children. They get what they need.
I'm glad you brought up grandma, because I'm one of those kiddos who grew up bouncing around between the nanas and just running around in the streets. I mean, that's important too for kids to just be able to have access to family and just socialization in other aspects outside of a school.
Yes. Family is very important. We don't want to forget about time with family. And when children are in school year-round, it's hard to have downtime to just go and be with the relatives and sit on grandma's lap and bake the cookies and do all the fun things that we enjoy doing with grandma. And so, and some grandparents don't live nearby, and so it gives an opportunity for children, if the family can travel, to have that opportunity. When school's in session, it doesn't always allow that kind of flexible time.
What sorts of things should parents be doing as they get closer to the beginning of the new school year, when I got to remember to teach my little one, multiplication and other things like that?
Yeah. I recommend that they do that sporadically throughout the summer. I mean, they don't have to jump on it the first week the child's out of school, especially if they're off for a good 3 months. But regular integration of just daily opportunities to reinforce the things that they were learning in school in very natural and authentic ways is the best way to do that, because the child will actually retain and do better with the information if it's done in a very natural way. So for example, math. Math is one of the first areas that loss occurs in over the summer. Reading is second. So those are the skills that children tend to lose quickly over the summer if they're not doing anything with them. So for math, for example, children have access to working with money. So if they're already at an age where they can count, we use money every day. We use it all the time. So when they go shopping, it's a good opportunity to naturally reinforce math skills using money. Just basic things that, recipes and cooking, measuring, letting the child be involved in the measurement of the ingredients. Just really basic things. Parents don't have to do sophisticated ideas. It just needs to be relevant to something that the child can practice the skills in some real kind of situation.
There are pros and cons to technology like tablets, computers, and cell phones. What is your message to parents or caregivers who are trying to decide, how much should I be giving my child access to during the summer?
There are some recommended guidelines. The American Academy of Pediatrics does have some guidelines they recommend in this area. Typically, for children that are elementary school or above, they typically recommend no more than 2 hours of screen time a day. So children can spend their other hours doing other developmental opportunities. So it's really easy. I have a teenage son, so I understand this. It's really easy to spend a lot of time on the screen if you're given, especially if you're at home and you don't have a lot of structure going on. It's very easy to spend time that way. So we just encourage parents to just monitor it, provide other opportunities of other things that children can do that are interesting and fun for them, because we want summer to be fun. And that way they have some enticement to get off of the screens and do some other things.
Okay, Teddi Schnurr from Pima Community College, thank you so much.
Thank you.